much for your time.
It's election eve, and there's still questions surrounding the attacks that killed 4 of our guys in Benghazi, Libya. Here's a refresher of the president's decisions, actions, and comments in the wake of those attacks. Just hours after our diplomats were murdered in Libya, President Obama delivered a statement from the Rose Garden. He casually mentions terrorism in conjunction with the 9/11 World Trade Center attacks. Later that day, he taped an interview with CBS 60 Minutes. That interview aired later, but not in full. Portions were edited, and remember that. Later that afternoon of September 12th, the president callously boards Air Force One and heads to Vegas for a fundraiser. Fast forward to the second presidential debate. President Obama stops Mitt Romney in his tracks, claiming he had blamed terrorism all along, even referring to the September 12th address from the Rose Garden. Moderator Candy Crowley, wagging her tail, happily agrees with him. Here's the problem. There's damning new evidence that 60 Minutes just put out last night, and here it is.
Mr. President, this morning you went out of your way to avoid the use of the word terrorism in connection with the Libya attack.
Right.
Do you believe that this was a terrorist attack?
Well, it's too early to know exactly how this came about, what group was involved, but obviously it was an attack on Americans. And we are going to be working with the Libyan government to make sure that we bring these folks to justice, one way or the other.
Okay, so, Kimberly, September 12th, we're still trying to figure out how many of our guys are dead in Libya, and President Obama, goes to Vegas, but also tapes this. Why doesn't 60 Minutes air this piece where President Obama clearly says, I'm not sure if it's terrorism or not?
This is a key critical piece of information that they tried to what? Hide? To what benefit? What is the reason for them not to air this portion? It's the most significant aspect of the interview. When we're going through this whole terrorist crisis, he tried to take credit in the second presidential debate, saying that he called it terrorism from the beginning. This tape directly contradicts that assertion by the president to the American people during that debate.
What about
it? Does not directly contradict.
Yes, it does.
He specifically said it wasn't terrorism. Replay that tape.
No, he specifically said it
was groups. It was groups.
You said it wasn't terrorism?
You said it wasn't terrorism.
How's this, Dana? Don't you think 60 Minutes could have given us that, let us decide whether or not President Obama
I don't know. I was just looking through
not?
again to see. I don't understand why they just posted it.
Last night.
But why? That seems very strange. And I think if you are interested and you're following this issue, go to foxnews.com and check out Brett Baer's column that he wrote on this last night, which you could tell when he saw it. Then Brett, who has covered this from the beginning on Special Report, and I'm sure he'll have more in 18 minutes from now, he said that, but this directly contradicts not just what the president said then, but at the debate. Right. That is the thing that I cannot understand it. I don't know why CBS didn't put it forward. Maybe we'll never know.
It should have been the lead.
Can we replay that tape?
I got to tell, but I love 60 Minutes because it's one documentary a week that reminds you what's wrong with the media. It's a great way to start off your week because it says this is what you have to watch out for. We have to remember this is nothing new in President Obama's pedigree. He doesn't like language. He doesn't like the word terror. He prefers man-made disasters. Remember, Fort Hood is still considered workplace violence, which is the equivalent of calling Hurricane Sandy a pool party.
Let me throw this in very quickly. In the last couple of minutes, Senator Lindsey Graham, Republican of South Carolina, is calling out 60 Minutes, asking why didn't they not air this earlier, and what's going on there?
Can somebody tell me why the mainstream media didn't focus on Paul Ryan's outrageous statement about Christianity and Judaism?
Well,
it didn't kill 4 people.
But Bob, actually, what Ryan is talking about is that Obamacare HHS mandate, which would require the Catholic Church and Catholic organizations to go against and other religious organizations to go against their principles, to do something that they believe is not right with federal taxpayer dollars. I think that Paul Ryan, what he said was valid.
Can we stay on this, Bob? What the heck does that have to do with CBS?
Moral relativism. He's saying that's the same as 4 people being killed.
But Americans are dead.
That's the problem with moral relativism.
Americans are dead, and we're trying to figure out whether President Obama, who wants to be our president for the next 4 years, is man enough to stand up and say, I knew about it, but I chose not to deal with it and go to Vegas instead.
You think that he knew if 4 Americans were killed, that if he could have done something about it, and he went to Vegas? He went to Vegas. I thought that was a bad idea, too. But if you suggesting the President of the United States
even you think it's a bad idea.
Lack of conscience.
I said it when it happened.
Lack of conscience.
I just think that
60 Minutes would have actually helped the Obama team by putting this out.
If I had said that about Mitt Romney, you all would have gone nuts.